Hi, and welcome to another edition of Your Bridge to Addiction Resources. This program series is brought to you by COCA. It is their stories and the stories of the impact of their work. So you're going to enjoy this. This is the kickoff month for the series here on the People Chronicles, and we're very, very happy to welcome them to our platform. And I hope you will welcome them simply by liking their show and following them on Facebook and following them on Twitter and on YouTube, because that's where you'll find all of these. Hi, Yvonne.
Hi, how are you, Joe?
I'm well. You are the Community Program Specialist, correct?
That is correct.
And I'm curious, how did you come upon being affiliated with COCA?
Well, I can tell you, Joe, that I've actually been affiliated with the Council on Chemical Abuse for more than 20 plus years.
Wow.
I say that to say this. I worked in the prevention field, worked at Berks Women in Crisis, actually, in the early 1990s. And so I remember going and having a meeting with George Vogel, the executive director, to share with him our experience about needing somebody at our shelter, someone that could actually work with women and make referrals, women who have come in battered from domestic violence, but also they had drug and alcohol dependency. And so where could they go? And so it was very important for us to have a staff member, at least part-time, that can kind of sit across from that lady and let her know that there is hope, and that we care about you, we care about the quality of your life, and we want to be able to help you, not only with your domestic violence, but also your alcohol or drug addiction as well, and to make referrals. So then after I left Berks Women in Crisis, I worked at Community Prevention Partnership, prevention being the operative word. I worked there for about 10 years, again, working as a contractor from the Council on Chemical Abuse, being in the community, talking about prevention efforts and wellness for families and individuals. After Community Prevention Partnership, went to Easy Does It, where I was the executive director for 2 years. Again, a contract with the Council on Chemical Abuse to deliver services to those who are coming out of treatment and wanting to change the quality of their life. And that was the humble beginnings for many of them to start their road to recovery. And now, fortunately, I'm working at the Council on Chemical Abuse as their community program specialist. Have been there for a little bit over a year. Again, working in the community, sharing about addiction, what some resources are, working with our contractors who provide treatment. Really, it's just been a wonderful journey for me in Berks County, and that affiliation with the Council on Chemical Abuse has always been there, has always been present. And so now I feel very blessed to be working with some really great, wonderful people working in prevention, intervention, treatment, and offering recovery resources.
I'm hearing a couple of things listening to you. First, it's help. It's all about offering help and assistance to people who need it.
Very important.
But you kept saying, first I was thinking you were with the Council on Chemical Abuse, but you were working with these different agencies through a contract from Council on Chemical Abuse.
Yes.
So they were facilitating or financially supporting that help through other agencies? Is that?
Absolutely,
okay.
And that's very important that the community has that awareness, is that the Council on Chemical Abuse and the receiving, we are responsible for the administration of public dollars into the community, back into the community. And so while the average person might think, well, gee, they're holding all that cash to themselves, absolutely not. It goes back out into the community in various ways. Prevention, intervention, treatment, recovery resources, those dollars are gone back into the community to help people get well.
So, no, wait, you talked about Berks Women in Crisis, Community Prevention
Partnership.
Easy Does It.
Absolutely.
So there's 3 organizations that they have their own mission, and part of that mission is supported by the Council on Chemical Abuse through contracts.
Through contracts to deliver services.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that. So wait a minute.
And they're just 3. I mean, we have a number. We have dozens of contracts publicly to disseminate those dollars. And we try to make it the most effective means by which people can get well.
So, Yvonne, you're in
your tax dollars at work, doing a very good job at doing that.
I'll say that's helping.
Yes.
And that's what we want with our tax dollars.
Absolutely.
When we're paying taxes, we want it to come back into the community.
Absolutely.
And help people. So that's making a difference.
Absolutely.
But you're in a unique position with points of contact through your resume. So you have witnessed, I'm guessing firsthand, some strong or individual impact from COCA through these separate organizations. Is
Absolutely.
that what are some that kind of stick out at you without, you know, compromising any names, but
yes.
what are some stories that maybe still stick with you and motivate you to keep doing it?
Well, what's very interesting, Joe, is that individuals will come back and tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, here I am, remember me, I'm doing well. Over Christmas holidays, we had a young lady years ago. She was in the shelter with her 3 children and just very desperate, very hopeless. Stayed in the shelter for 30 days. She had started utilizing pills as a means of coping. And so we kind of given her some reference about where she can go get some help for that. But she's sober today. She is now giving back. She's working in the community, and she just says, you know, you helped me get on my way, and to say thank you. And one of the things that I just encourage people to do is just pay it forward. And that's absolutely something that she's done. She and her husband now have gone out and gotten gifts for other families that couldn't afford it. And that's how they've extended their Christmas. But to see it just come back tenfold is just heartwarming. It's very, very heartwarming to be able to look. And sometimes I see the little kids. Remember when I was in the shelter, and to see them growing up, and they're working and they're starting families of their own, but they're doing it from a healthy perspective.
And they're remembering you.
And they're remembering me, you know. And so I'm very blessed and feel very appreciative and thankful. And it really does inspire and encourage me to continue to do the work that I'm doing. Because sometimes you might wake up and you say, you know, God, is this all worth it with the calamity and, you know, people?
So is it draining at the same time as it's fulfilling?
There's work to be done. And so sometimes we're operating by the seat of our pants and we don't know. It's kind of a dart that you throw and you don't really know where it's going to land. But when you see families and when you see young people getting well and you see them being productive citizens, you know, you just smile up at God and you say, well, that makes it all worth it. And you continue to be in the trenches doing the work that is meaningful, that is purposeful, that gives the hope and never dies and never fails. And that's what really is encouraging. So
that's your motivator.
That's the motivator.
To get up and keep doing it.
Yes, yes.
I can't even ask you what one thing would you talk about, because you have a lot, and it's those. It sounds like it's those stories. Somebody tapping you on the shoulder and you seeing them with a different life.
It really is the stories that are really encouraging, really powerful, and they are existing throughout this county. And they walk with us and they talk with us, and we may not know who they are, but sometimes when you're out in the community and you're talking about something, there might be that gentleman or that woman that gives you a nod or a wink or a stare that says, yeah, I was the benefactor of a service from the Council on Chemical Abuse, and I am just doing wonderfully today. Thank you.
Wow.
That's just, it's immeasurable. It is immeasurable of what we might think the possibilities, and that's one of the reasons why I continue to get up and do the work, because it's never endless. The possibilities are there.
You talk about possibilities. So when you're doing this and you're running across people, and you've been with them for quite a few years, so you have the perspective of looking back. Are you seeing more people? Are you seeing less people?
That's a really good question.
The problem itself, are you thinking, okay, is this, we're making a difference and it's stopping, or are there more?
And someone else asked me that question several months ago in terms of when we talk about the heroin epidemic. And now it's at epidemic proportions. And what I say is, I believe that we can never discount that addiction has been with us for years. Right. What happens is when there is an epidemic, or when something occurs that really gets the notice of the attention of media, then it's kind of like, for some, it's like, really, that's going on? And it's been there for years. No one, you know, we think about the crack epidemic that was in the 80s.
That's right.
And people were alarmed by that. There was an episode whereby ecstasy and other club drugs came about in the early 90s. And so now it's heroin.
Cyclical.
So it's cyclical. It comes back in another form or fashion, but the main tenor of addiction, the disease of addiction, cunning, baffling, powerful, it is there.
But you've got that exponential reach now from all of the people that you've touched.
Absolutely.
And then they've got to be sharing their recovery with others and others.
Yes.
So along with that cyclical repeat of epidemic, there's a cyclical and generational healing.
Absolutely. And it's important that we be able to bring that to light, that we speak about that there is the disease of addiction, but also along with that, people do and can get well. Families do get better. And so we hold on to the possibilities that hope is just around the corner. And oftentimes that hope lies within contacting the Council on Chemical Abuse to begin that hope.
Perfect. Yvonne, that's 2 words, possibilities and hope. And that's what this series is all about. Your bridge to addiction resources, brought to you by the Council on Chemical Abuse. Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you, Joe.
My pleasure.
Check back every week for a new story with your bridge to addiction resources. You can call 610-376-8669 or visit online at cocaberks.org. COCABERKS.org. Be sure to like and follow the Council on Chemical Abuse on Facebook and Twitter.